Hi, Alyssa. Thank you for coming into the University Counseling Center today. My name is Emerald Cox. I'm going to be doing a assessment with you today. Is that okay if we do an assessment? Okay. So to give you more background on the questions, I'm just going to be asking questions of you that just to get to know you a little bit better, and just find ways to get to know you and know more about you, if that's okay. Okay, so I want to start by asking have you had any therapy sessions in the past? Is this your first therapy session?
I've actually never been to therapy or counseling, so I'm new to the scene.
Okay, nice. And I'm going to be writing some things down just so I won't forget. Is that okay with you? Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
awesome. Awesome. And so where are you? I'm sorry. Are you okay with being called Alyssa, or do you have any nicknames at all that you prefer?
Hi, Alyssa is fine.
Okay, okay. All right, Alyssa, where are you from?
I am originally from Ann Arbor.
Okay. All right. Ann Arbor. And how many siblings do you have?
I have three siblings.
Okay, and are you the oldest? Where do you fall in that lineup?
I'm actually the middle.
Okay, the middle. Nice. And what's your siblings' names, if you don't mind me asking?
So my older brother's name is John, and then
Mm-hmm.
my younger sister's name is Jess.
Okay. Hmm. How's your relationship with John?
I am very close with John, actually. I'm very close with my whole family.
Okay, nice.
Um, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And then how old are you, Alyssa?
24.
24. Okay, awesome. And then what do you do currently as employment?
So I am a part-time waitress, but then I am also in school.
Okay, what are you studying?
Business.
Nice. That is awesome. Do you have a specific sector of business that you want to study?
I'm not sure yet. I'm so sort of trying to like figure all of that out. So,
Okay, understandable. Nice. What are your hobbies outside of school?
um, I I like to play sports, and I like cooking a lot.
Mhm.
I think that's about it. I don't have a ton of time outside of school just because I'm trying to like maintain everything, school and work. So it's kind of a lot. But yeah.
Understandable. I hear you talking about how everything's a lot. What does your everyday look like? Or walk me through one day of your life.
Yeah, so usually I wake up at about 8. I used to work out in the morning. Recently I just haven't had time. So I wake up at about 8 and then I have classes kind of sporadically throughout the day. Um and different like projects to work on. And then in the evening, I am a waitress. So I usually work starting at like 6 to like 10 p.m.
Okay, those are some pretty long hours. Awesome. And then tell me about your parents, Alyssa. What's your relationship like with your parents?
Yeah, so my family is very supportive. I'm close with my parents. But I am the first one in my family to attend college, and so I think part of what I'm dealing with is like pressure to perform just because they never got the opportunity to go to college. And so that's like, just something that they always wanted me to do and have always empathized or emphasize the importance of it. But yeah, they are very good parents and they do the best that they can. So
Awesome, that's good. Are they, how supportive are they with your going to school and everything?
they have been very supportive. I would say they don't understand, I guess, like how difficult it is to maintain all of that at once. For me, I don't know if that's something they did better with is having such a busy schedule, but I think it's like stressing me out a lot. And I don't necessarily feel like I can tell them that and have them understand it.
Okay. And then what about your siblings? How do your siblings support you while you're in school? John and Jess.
Yeah, so some days they're pretty much the only people that I see outside of work and school, just because I live near them. Um, so yeah, they're just easier to hang out with when I'm stressed. And then I don't have to deal with, just new people and all that, I think has been hard. But they were actually the ones who encouraged me to get counseling. Um, but ultimately it was a professor that like pushed me to do it. So
Okay, okay. Awesome. And then you talked about living near John and Jess. What is your living situation?
yeah, so I have two roommates, and we live in an apartment that is technically off campus, but it's within like walking distance.
Okay.
So it works out pretty well.
Okay, awesome. So I feel like I got a great idea of kind of like your everyday life and your supports with your family. I'm going to go into some more heavier questions. So at any moment, if you want to take a break, if I'm going too fast, definitely let me know and we'll slow it down and we'll figure out some ways to get through it differently, okay? So my first question for you is, how is your current physical health, including any ongoing issues such as headaches or digestive problems?
Yeah, so I have had a lot of headaches, and sometimes my stomach hurts, especially when I'm feeling like anxious. I think that fixing, sort of addressing my anxiety might help with that. Um, yeah, so I never thought about it until I spoke with a couple of different people who know a little bit more about it, and they sort of pushed me toward getting help. Um, but my family has always believed that like being resilient and hardworking is a solution to problems. And I think that I tried doing that for so long, but I was getting worse headaches and worse stomach aches. And some days I just don't have an appetite. Um, so yeah.
And then how would you scale your quality of sleep every night?
It kind of depends. Like if I have like a big like presentation or an assignment the next day, sometimes I have a hard time. Um, I do get home pretty late sometimes from work. And then I sometimes have homework after. So I think I don't sleep as much as I would like to. I probably sleep like 6 hours a night on a good night. And I would say for me, like a good night would be like 9 hours is probably what I actually need. But yeah, I am definitely like waking up some nights if I get really anxious, or sometimes I have dreams about like failing an exam or something. And so, yeah.
Okay. And describe your eating habits every day. What do those look like for you?
It totally depends on the day. I think when I'm like doing really well, I eat a lot more and I eat like healthier. But on days that I'm like struggling more, like if I'm struggling with anxiety a lot that day, I usually don't really have an appetite. So I try to force myself to eat, but it doesn't always happen just because I don't have a ton of time throughout the day. And it takes a lot of planning ahead. So it's super inconsistent, I guess, is what I would say.
Okay. Okay. We're going to shift just a little bit. I want to talk about your genetics and how they could possibly help us with navigating some things. So, do you have any history in your family with any trauma and or mental illness diagnoses at all?
In like for me or my family.
Both. Let's go with your family first, and then we'll do you.
Yeah, so my family doesn't really, at least until like me and my siblings, they don't really believe in like mental health issues. So I think that my dad probably has, I think he had depression a lot, like growing up, I noticed that. And more recently, I've sort of realized that that was like what that was. And just it was like never addressed. I think he still deals with that, but if I were to suggest it, he would say no. So there are no like diagnoses for them, but
Any other family members that you may want to mention at all?
I think that my little sister has anxiety.
Okay. And what about yourself?
I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I get really anxious a lot. And I'm just worried it will get worse if, I don't address the issue, but mainly I just want to make sure I can like still perform in school and work at the same time. So
Um, let's take a quick little pause. Do you have any questions at all? How are you feeling?
I don't think I have any questions. I feel fine. Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure before we keep going. So I have some more questions and I'm going to continue to ask. So I'll get started with those. Um, have how have you been feeling emotionally over the past few months?
Pretty stressed, I would say. I feel like I overthink a lot. And like I said, that wakes me up even. So and a lot of that is like related to failing out of school that I'm worried about. And yeah. So I'm a little bit of, I guess I feel sort of isolated from other people. My friends have said that I haven't like hung out with them as much. And part of that is just not having time. And part of it is just I'm not that interested in like leaving the house once I get there. So,
Okay. And how would you say your motivation or concentration has been since you started your studies?
um, in the last couple of months, it's definitely dipped a lot. So I used to be more motivated, and now I think it's more just to make sure that my parents aren't mad at me.
Oh, we talked a little bit about your support system and what that looks like. But can we give a little more details? What does your support system look like on a daily basis?
Yeah. So, like I said, I see my siblings a lot, some friends at school, but most of the time it's just working on like group projects. Um, I used to be go to church more. Um, I don't go as much recently, but that community has been a support for me. Um, Trying to think what else. I'm friends with people at work as well, but we don't hang out like outside of work.
Okay. Um, and then are you in a romantic relationship at all?
No.
Okay, awesome. And then can you describe your beliefs about faith or spirituality?
Yeah, so I was raised in a Catholic household. Um, and I don't actively like practice religion. Um, but I would say that like still remains an important aspect of my life. So sometimes I pray when I'm feeling anxious, but I don't like regularly go to church, I guess. Um, my family is very like focused on the moral values of the Catholic Church. And I think that is part of what like influences them in wanting me to work hard and um yeah, just pushing me to be better at what I'm doing. At least that's what they say. So
Okay. And then when facing challenges, do you find yourself turning to faith for support?
almost as like a last resort, I would say. Probably my siblings would be the first thing, and then I do have one professor who has been very helpful when I need help.
Um, Do you have any questions at the moment? Just want to check in with you, see how you're doing.
And yeah, thanks for asking.
Of course, no problem. All right, I have a couple more questions. We're getting to the end. What led you to seeking help this time?
My professor, the one that I told you about, noticed that my grades were not as good as they have been like in the past. And kind of talked to me about seeing a counselor maybe because we talked about how I've just been very anxious and have a lot going on. And so she sort of recommended that to me. Um, but yeah, I've never been to therapy, so I didn't know that it could really help. I'm not sure. I'm still slightly skeptical, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
How do you feel in general about discussing mental health concerns with a therapist?
getting more comfortable with it. I think when I was little, not so much because it wasn't talked about. Um, but yeah, I think that like gradually my family is getting used to that idea. Um, so yeah, I think it was more just worrying people would like judge or whatever. And so I'm trying not to like worry about that. So I think it would take getting used to, but possible.
Okay. And then one last question. It's okay if you do not have any, but I wanted to know what are your goals that you want to achieve during our sessions moving forward, if you have any.
I think increasing my grades as well as my mood. So I'm feeling better like on a daily basis. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but yeah, I just want to learn how to manage my stress.
Okay. And then that was all the questions that I have for you. Do you have any questions at all for me about the session, anything at all that you may think you want to
Um, I don't think so. I think, yeah, I don't think so.
add? Well, thank you for sitting in this assessment with me today. I will follow up with you at a later date for your next session, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.